Hello everyone, welcome back for another video here on our channel. Today what we're going to be jumping into is a unboxing and review of the brand new figure by Hot Toys, Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.2. Starting off, we're getting an overview here of the outer box for this figure. A wonderfully designed box showing a classic vintage design, showing that tape deck there with the Awesome Mix Volume 2. A image of Gamora there on the front, showing that this is part of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 line. Just a great design overall for this particular line. Then jumping to the inner box, which shows the credits of all the wonderful artists that worked on this particular figure, the sculptors, the painters, and everybody from there. And then underneath that credits is going to be the figure itself and all the different accessories. So what we're going to do next is we are going to jump to the accessories and show you what this Gamora figure comes with and what we can use in order to display this figure in our collection and give you that dynamic look that we always speak about. So let's jump to that and see what it has to offer. Jumping to the different accessories that this Gamora figure comes with, you don't have a lot of different things that come with this particular figure, but we do have some great things that it does come with. For example, you have your Hot Toys base that comes with all your different figures. This is one of the more kind of classic designs now as they started to phase out this particular design of base. You have your different interchangeable hands. You have your fist hands. You have your hands that are there for holding her sword that she comes with. You have your hands for holding that gun that she comes with as well. Similar to the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 line, she does come with her own Baby Groot. This time Baby Groot holding the little bomb from the end of Volume 2. And other than those additional accessories there, she also comes with an interchangeable shirt for her to change into, and the jetpack booster that you can attach to that figure as well to recreate the beginning opening scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, in order to get that interchangeable shirt, it is something very difficult to do, I should warn you. And you have a high possibility of ruining the black vest that she does have on initially when you take the figure out of the box. So I'd like to give that as a warning to any collectors out there who are looking to interchange those different looks. One of the downfalls for this figure is the ability to change that shirt and how difficult it is, and the high possibility of damaging the figure by doing so. What we're going to do next is we are going to take the figure out of the box, give it just a neutral pose, and see what Gamora looks like spinning around on the turntable. So here we have Gamora straight out of the box, just an up and down standard museum pose. First off, I have to say I'm completely blown away by the quality of this figure and just how amazing the likeness is to Zoe Saldana, even compared to the original Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. You can see here it's a very intricate costume that she is wearing. The hair itself, I actually really do like the rooted hair look for this character. Now, a lot of times Hot Toys in the past has done rooted hair on the female characters. It can be hit or miss. You do have a problem with loose hairs, you have things looking a little crazy, you gotta really play around to make it look great, but on some characters it really just fits that character, and this is one of those examples. We'll get a little bit closer seeing the head sculpt and just how on point it is when it comes to the likeness of the actress, in this case, giving just a full turnaround of the figure straight out of the box. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start introducing some additional posing, show you how the types of articulation that you could do on this figure, and introduce some additional accessories as we go from there. So we will jump to that and see what we could do with this figure. Alright, jumping to our first, what I would like to call a character pose, giving her a little bit more life, putting her hands on her hips, kind of Turning her hip to the side, give her a little more of a feminine type of look. It does make her seem a little bit more alive, with a little bit more character, and really going off of how Gamora is in those MCU films. So once again, just giving you a turnaround of the figure, a wonderful close-up of the fantastic, in my opinion, head sculpt on this figure. Another piece that I'd like to point out is going to be the boots on this figure. That is one other thing that I would say would be a downfall, is that we do not have a split cut boot down at the ankle. So it does make it a little more difficult when it comes to doing some more dynamic poses with this figure, where it can get a little awkward since you can't turn the foot at ankle. Balancing the figure in those dynamic poses may become a little bit more of a difficulty as you try to come up with those imaginative poses moving forward. But other than that, they do look wonderful. They're wonderfully sculpted. They do have a little bit of mixture of plastic and that kind of leather pleather type of material. So they look great, but I would have loved to have that split boot in order to have some more kind of dynamic poses being a little easier to do on this figure. We'll close in a little bit more on the belt there in the center of the figure, just showing a little bit more detail and just how intricate Hot Toys has gotten with this particular costume to really show her look in both Guardians Volume 2 and also a little bit in her view when she appeared in Infinity War. Jumping now to a little more of a dynamic type of pose, one of the best things that I think about this figure in comparison to the original release of Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is that it's the arms. On that original figure, the arms were just one solid piece. They were that rubberized type of arms where it was seamless. The problem with those is that if you were to put that figure in any type of dynamic pose, those arms were going to crack over time and break. Whereas in this case, underneath that costume, her arms are same color, but they are fully dynamically posable without having to worry about damaging those arms. And those seams are covered up by the wonderfully detailed jacket that she's wearing as well, which does allow this figure to be put into a significantly more options when it comes to dynamic poses compared to that original release of figure. So you can see here, nothing too crazy, but her pointing her sword, getting ready for battle, just something looking great, a little bit more dynamic, and this figure having the great articulation available for you to get that figure into those more dynamic types of poses. Here is Gamora in her alternate look that you can do with the red interchangeable shirt and the jetpack booster that she comes with. Also represented that blaster that comes with the Volume 2 figure. Now, like I stated earlier in the video, do this at your own caution. Just from my personal experience, I did unfortunately damage the black vest that she comes in when I was trying to interchange between the two different shirts. So do this at your own risk. In my personal preference, I'm going to keep her in that black vest. I prefer that look over this look, but just wanted to give you an example of what it would look like if you do interchange that. But once again, do that at your own risk, just due to the difficulty of removing that black vest in order to interchange with this red shirt that she comes with. Now just showing another simple pose that you can do with this figure. Really just want to have this pose to highlight the figure some more, do some more close-ups, and just take a look as we spin around and show the details of this wonderful figure by Hot Toys. I brought out here the original Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and one of the things I'm automatically blown away by is just the color difference between the figures, the height difference between each of those different figures, and one of the craziest things is just the quality in that head sculpt. The original Gamora figure, in my opinion, used to be one of the most impressive head sculpts in my entire Hot Toys collection. Now with these two figures side by side with each other, it's really crazy how far we have come when it comes to these head sculpts provided by Hot Toys. Hot Toys has always been the leader in the game when it comes to these realistic head sculpts, and you could see that the technology, as we go year by year, is just continually growing, and the talent from the artists that Hot Toys hire is continually growing as well. The difference here, you can see that that green on Gamora from the Volume 2 figure is a lot more accurate to her representation in the MCU films. And just in general, you can once again see, as I previously mentioned, those seamless arms on the original Gamora, which I've always kept her in this particular pose my entire time I've had this figure, and that's been since 2015. Just from fear of those arms cracking and breaking over the years of putting her in a more dynamic pose. And now with this new figure, I don't really need to worry about that, and I can give her a more dynamic pose while she's on the shelf with the rest of the Guardians. Now just wanted to give an idea of what it looks like Gamora displayed with some other figures from the Marvel line. Here in particular, Thanos from Infinity War. I am really impressed just how these look on the shelf. The presence that they have standing next to each other, it really does look like a scene straight out of the movie. Just the quality of the head sculpts on both figures, the quality of the tailoring on both of their costumes. It really is a great display option if you do have both of these figures in your collection, whether it be the Infinity War Thanos as represented here, or possibly one of the Endgame Thanos that is available, either the regular armored version or the upcoming battle damaged armor version. It's going to look fantastic in your collection if you put those two figures together. I would like to end here with Gamora with Star-Lord Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, another one of my favorite figures in my collection. In summary, just speaking about the Gamora figure, if you do not currently have Gamora in your Marvel Hot Toys collection, I would highly recommend picking up this figure. It is, in my opinion, the best representation of the character so far that has been produced by Hot Toys. You have wonderful articulation. Even with the limited accessories, you have some great posing opportunities, some great different ways you can display that figure, especially if you do have the other Guardians in your collection. Now, the only pieces I would keep an eye out for, as previously noted, would be that interchangeable vest and shirt, and just how difficult it is to do that, and the possibility of damaging the figure doing so, which unfortunately I did in my particular case. The other thing would be not having those split boots down at the ankle to allow for some easier posing when it comes to dynamic, but that's a little bit of a nitpicky thing just because they do look great, and you could still kind of move around that figure and get into the right kind of balancing act in order to get those different looks that you look at. So in those cases, just want to say overall, wonderful figure, a must-have in your collection if you don't have Gamora already, and just keep an eye out for it. I would like to thank you for spending some time with us today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for additional content and updates on future videos. And always remember, keep on collecting.